it going, guys? Here we are. It's a pregame show for Wednesday. We've got 8 games on. There's already been the waiver wire show today, the daily look ahead for Thursday's show. We're going to have a recap of today's games coming later on. Of course, tomorrow we've got a live mailbag show at 3 p.m. Eastern as well. So it's just going to be 30 minutes of answering questions. So get involved with that. Also, make sure you're checking out the Locked On Sports Today channel. It's a new channel we've launched here on YouTube. It'll redirect after this video to it. It's 24/7. It's just all updates of all sports across all of our shows. Locked On NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, college, individual shows, my one, some team shows, little snippet interviews. It's just like basically streaming like a TV show, like a TV channel with just different sports shows being put on it. It's worth looking at. So when you're looking for something, what am I going to watch? I've watched all of Josh's shows. Go check out Locked On Sports Today. Just something to check out here over on YouTube. Hello to everybody that is here. Good to have you guys here. We're here ready for these 8 games. Good. Again, everyone, if you are here now, just hit a thumbs up. That'll be sick. If you could drop one of those on me, always going to love that. Let's, what do we need to look at? What is going on in the NBA at the moment? What news just dropped? Honoralp Bitim is available to play. Pat Williams is playing. RJ Barrett is out, even though his official injury status says questionable. That's interesting. What else have we got? Brad Beal and Devin Booker are returning today. DeRozan is out for personal reasons. He said Billy Donovan's unsure whether it will extend past today. The original report was he would be back for Friday, but let's see what goes on there. So what are we actually... Let's see what news we have, who's in, who's out. We'll get to questions soon. Kyrie is out today on a back-to-back with a foot problem. That looks like it might last for a while, unfortunately. Giannis is out. Anunoby is out. Gary Trent is out. Dennis Schroeder is questionable. That could be real Malachi Flynn territory there. Real Trent territory, real Prestige Penis territory as well. Jaylen Brown is out. Porzingis is out. Batum is out. Another Covington chance. Probably not, but maybe. Embiid is questionable on a game-time decision. Brown and Porzingis out means Horford. It means Hauser. It means Pritchard. Barrett out, so it means Josh Hart, but Trae Young is back. DeRozan is out, as we said. That's got to be Patrick Williams' chance there. Fultz is out. Gary Harris is back. Jonathan Isaac's not on the injury report. Is he going to play a back-to-back? Really? Okay. Beal, Booker, Goodwin, Eric Gordon. Gordon's still probable. LeBron's questionable. Game-time decision on a back-to-back. Anthony Davis is probable on a back-to-back. What else is happening? Darius Garland is out. Isaac Okoro is out. Shaedon Sharpe is probable. Malcolm Brogdon is out. That's no surprise there. So that's where we're at. So the statuses that we're waiting on at the moment, the Magic lineup is submitted. Black, Suggs, Wagner, Banchero, Badadze. Same lineup as last time. Anthony Black's not doing a huge amount there. So we're waiting on Schroeder. We're waiting on Embiid. We're waiting on on LeBron. They're the 3 questionable tags we're waiting on. I might as well chuck the lineup screen across so you guys can see it now to see. We've only got the one lineup confirmed. It's the Magic. They are literally the best team in the NBA. Now, they were terrible at providing any updates on John Isaac and his injury and even Markelle Fultz's previous injuries. They're bad at that. But in terms of throwing lineups out there and updating their day-to-day injury report, best in the business. They get the injury reports out. Like, they had an injury report out for today's games, like 2 hours after yesterday's game. So we knew that Fultz was out for today on their official injury report. I mean, they don't have to do it until like 1... I think it's... If you played the day before, you have to do it by 1 p.m. the next day or 3 p.m. the next day or something, right? You've got that amount of time. They chucked it out last night to tell us that Fultz was out for today, even before the games had finished on Tuesday. And they always get their starting lineups out early. So we really appreciate that, Magic. You're really good at that. The other stuff, the injury reporting stuff, not great on a long-term basis, but day-to-day stuff, they're perfect at it. All right. Hello to everyone who is here. It's good to have you guys here. Except that time when they scratch Fultz. Yeah, that's true. That was frustrating. But yeah, what I think the part of the problem is that there was definitely an issue, right, with Fultz's knee. But because the rules allow it, you can just give it as long as you want to make a call and there's no punishment. If there was some sort of rule where you've got to make a decision, like the way that they do inactive lists in the NFL, where you've got to set them at a certain time, and if you make late changes to those things, there's some sort of monetary fine. So you could say, here's your starting lineup, right? Here's a starting lineup sheet. It's got to come in an hour before the games. And if a guy is out injured in warm-ups, okay, there is exceptions. But like that was not an acute injury in warm-up. It was just I don't even know what I'm trying to say, an accumulation of what's just not quite right. There needs to be more cutoffs in these, and they need to make these decisions early. But you're right on the Fultz one, so thank you. Alex Caruso is playing. That is correct. Gillard finally available to be claimed on ESPN. Yeah, he was added a couple of days ago. They added all of those guys. You're not going to be shocked at this. I called them out on Twitter again and tagged them. And then the next day, Matt Ryan, Jacob Gilead, someone on Portland, Justin Minaya maybe, they all got added. That's what happens. So there you go. How many games until Keontae gets point guard eligibility? I don't know. He should have it already. I don't know why he doesn't. I can't understand when they update these. Again, they updated Onyeka Okongwu to give him power forward eligibility after he played 2 minutes at power forward for the entire season. So there's no rhyme nor reason behind it. George should have had point guard eligibility to begin the year. And there's another player who doesn't. Is it Mays who doesn't have point guard eligibility? There's someone else who's a starting point guard who doesn't have it. Okay. Ryan, what's going on, Ryan? I think the Earth is flat. All right, buddy. No worries. Is Dre going to be suspended? I would expect so, yeah. Still no Craig Porter on ESPN. That's because I haven't told them about that. Should I send a tweet out? We'll see how quick he gets added. Maybe I'll send a tweet out now. Who knows if... Let's double check. Is Craig Porter available on Yahoo? Let's check in to see if there's any more injury news. Let's go to Yahoo and see if Craig Porter's there. Because I need to tag both of them if he's not available, because he's going to play a role today. It's just absolutely insane to me that this is a guy that's been signed since like September. Yeah. Craig Porter is available on Yahoo. So let's just do a tweet. Hey, ESPN Fantasy. Why don't you have all players on rosters available? Craig Porter Jr. can't be added. Would be nice if he was. And I better double check that. I don't like to put out something. Look, I know I do believe you that you told me that Craig Porter is not available, but I'm just going to go and double check that for myself. Because I don't want to be proven wrong. Or I don't want to be looked at foolishly. Let's have a look. Craig Porter. Why is this filter not even working? Yep, no, he's not there. Cool. Let's throw that out there. Let's see how long it takes for him to get added. By tomorrow, he'll be there. Is filter drop? I don't know, Lulu. Like, it depends who you're adding. Probably not, but who knows? Mays is only listed as shooting guard. Yeah, that's silly. Like, he's clearly a point guard. He was a point guard last season. He's a point guard this season. Okongwu doesn't have power forward eligibility. Oh, but he does, depending on where you're playing. Let's have a look, because you're talking for yourself, but on ESPN, Okongwu has power forward eligibility. So there you go. Pancakes or waffles? It's a good question, Fabian. I actually bought waffles yesterday, so I'm going to go and have some after this is done. But I wouldn't say that I favor one or the other. I think pancakes are probably more versatile. But yeah. What's my thoughts on Šarić if he maintains the starting job when everyone's healthy? It is interesting, isn't it? Because he did start last game over Looney, and he played well. He did put up some big scoring numbers late in the game. There is an opportunity here for a lot of stuff for him. If he does maintain the starting role, and we know they don't usually want to pump big minutes into Looney, if 28 minutes of Šarić comes, then that's actually worth having a crack at. Yeah, I think that is worth it. How do I rate Derek Jones tonight for the Mavs with no Kyrie? I like it a lot. In the other games without Kyrie this season, he's been very strong, and he's stepped up a lot in terms of usage, which is not really a role that we've seen him do all that often. So I am interested to see what he is able to bring in that situation. I'm just checking something. I've got Alex Caruso. I'm just going through my lineups, make sure I've got all my rosters set for today and nothing weird going on. Jaylen Brown is out in that one, so I'm going to throw Derek Jones into that slot. Just making adjustments, make sure I get all my games played in. Oh, who could I throw into that? But no one. I don't have anyone there. Damn it. So Jalen's out. Do I risk? What's my game? Because it is my games cap league, and there's not a massive amount of games left for the week. So who can I throw in there? That's all right. I'll leave that. Just setting lineups. Don't mind me. Had to activate. Ooh, can I activate Caruso? Yeah, I can. He's on the. Oh God. All right, let's do this. And then we can put Caruso in that one. Let's go back and check some news for you guys. Mavericks starters announced. Doncic, Green. So Josh Green starting in place of Kyrie. Derek Jones, Grant Williams, and Derek Lively Jr. Derek Lively the second. Why do some people go with the junior and some people go with the second? It's a question for the ages. All right, just going to throw Caruso into my lineup. I've got one more lineup to set. Just to double check everything. Anyone in or out of that? Nope, we're all good. All right, let's go back and look at what you guys are talking about here. Outlook on Torrey Craig. Like he's a nothing, right? He's starting. He occasionally gets good rebounds. He's just not someone I'm that interested in for fantasy. You mentioned earlier defensive stats have increased this year. Is it still showing up in your stats? I haven't looked, Chouch. I'll need to go and have a look. I would say it has dropped a little bit, but I'm not certain on that. I'm not certain. I'd have to check it out. Does Highsmith lose all value now that Caleb is back? No, I don't think so. Because I'm a little worried about what Martin's knee situation looks like. Highsmith will lose some value, and we'll get a real idea of it tomorrow. But they're not going to pump big minutes into Martin immediately. They haven't wanted to start Martin anyway. They were starting Kevin Love over him. So maybe they just keep Highsmith there, and then Martin. There is a risk that Martin's not really a 4. He's a 3. Right? So maybe there's a risk that he cuts into Josh Richardson or cuts into more of Huckers versus cutting into Highsmith more. So I don't think he loses all value. I'd like to hold to wait till tomorrow. Day 3 of trying to ask Josh, don't put it in caps, mate, and I'll answer it. But honestly, that's a ridiculous trade. Why would you trade Harden and Dame for Luka? Just keep Luka. Like what? Stop asking in caps, my guy. That's like, just keep Luka. What are you doing? Am I still planning to rizz up your sneaky link? Yeah. I'm going to slide into the DMs. Get my gat out for the Rizzler. Is Rajakovic a good coach? I'm not sure yet. Wizards lineup is out. It's the same as usual. Jones, Poole, Avdia, Kuzma, Gafford. Bilal or Skylar May stream for ESPN points. Well, for tomorrow's or for today's value, Mays is better. I think Mays is a better option than Bilal, but longer term, it is Bilal. I don't know if Darko's a good coach. I'd say he's looked okay so far. Definitely better than like Adrian Griffin. Is Dyson Daniels good for streaming? Yeah, especially when you're looking for assists and steals. That's what he brings. Who's the better wrestler, Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart? It was Bret Hart, surely. Is Paul Reed the out if Embiid is out? Yes, but Mo Bumble will also be worth a stream. It really depends on what sort of split they give or how Nurse views it. Like, don't expect 35 from Paul Reed. It's probably going to be 24-24, which would make both of them in play. What are we doing with Smart, drop or hold? I'd love to see what the actual injury situation is first before I make a call on that. Is Pajemski a stream even with Curry's doubtful tag? Curry's not doubtful. Curry is officially out for tomorrow, and I don't think he's playing this week. Pajemski also benefited from Clay being out, so I'm not going to overreact too much. But yes, tomorrow there's no games on, so yes, you can stream him. There's 2 games on. No, I don't want you to take me literally. There's 2 games on. How long before Champagne is fully uncorked? Well, I don't know. He's been bubbling away for a while. Let's see when they decide. The problem is that there's no starting spot available. He can take Osman and McDermott's minutes, and I'm not sure why, but I think that'll happen around January, February, and then he'll start when injuries happen. What are my thoughts on people that say you don't know ball if you never played? Ridiculous, nonsense, idiotic, and it's one of the dumbest. It's basically, I'm at the stage now when people will be like, well, you've never played or you don't know anything. They're just getting muted. Like, I'm just not going to listen to this bullshit anymore. So if you're going to come at me with nonsense like that, get the fuck out of here. Trae Young dad buff game tonight. Yeah, exactly like Derek White's performance. Curious, you talk about Bilal, Jalen Johnson, Keontae a lot. How would I rank them? Jalen is so far ahead of those other 2, it's not funny. And you got a bit of an idea. Like for George and Koulibaly, look at their last 2 games in a points league. What have they averaged? How do they compare to each other? That's a decent estimation, yeah? You're in the ESPN points league. You've got the data in front of you. Have a look at their last 2 games. You mentioned before that benches aren't deep enough. I mean, a 10-team points league with starting 5, 3 utility. So you got 8 starters and 8 bench. How many bench spots do you think a league should have for 10? What I think you should have, right? I think you should have extended benches. I think the 10-3 split doesn't work. I think we should be rostering at least 180 to 200 players in a league. That is, there's 540 active players in the NBA, give or take. There are 150 starters, but there are, let's say, between 9 to 10 rotation guys every night. 270 to 300 rotation guys. I think you want 180 to 200 guys rostered in fantasy. And I think you probably want to look to start across your league as starters in your league, 120 to 135 players started. So just work that out for how many teams you've got. What's your take on adding an IR slot mid-season? It's not ideal because people haven't planned for this, but if you would need making a change like that mid-season, you need every single manager to agree to it. Is Duran a drop or a hold? Michael, please, come on. It is a very obvious hold. Is Fultz somewhat droppable? Sure. In a shallower format, Fultz's upside is not through the roof. He's injured twice. He's had 2 issues with this thing flaring up. We don't know when he's coming back. Sure. Paul reads another case as why we can't trust what coaches say and their opinions on players. True. But do you know what Nick Nurse also said? I don't think Joel Embiid's playing enough minutes. We're going to really pump his minutes up this season. And we said, bro, do you think he can handle that? And look at Joel Embiid's minutes. The same bloke. So how do you pick what they're lying about and what they're not lying about? And like I've said a million times, if a coach tells you something directly and you contradict it, you've got no comeback to that. You go, well, they literally told you. And you go, I know. I just thought they were lying. It's so hard to do. It is hard. It's very hard. Favorite yogurt flavor? Vanilla. Just go with vanilla. It's really easy. Top few young guys that may take starter positions as the year goes along. Well, obviously George has been the one there that has taken that one. Who else is there? Not Brandon Miller. Scoot's already starting. Not Amen Thompson, unfortunately. Outside of injury. Oh, Bilal. Bilal will probably get a starting spot at some point. He's an obvious one. The other sneaky one would be Jackson Davis in Golden State, but that's long shot stuff. I don't know. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head. Do I think the Sixers will trade for Levine? I do not. Can I do the Warney laugh? There you go. Any concerns about Sharp's relatively low usage despite so many injuries? Yes. I discussed this yesterday. Maybe it was on the Sell High show. I didn't actually feature him on it, but I said the fact that Simons is out, Scooter's out, Brogdon's out, Sharp's playing 41 minutes a night, and nothing is really popping is a real concern for where the numbers go. And while you have getting these big numbers, he's really useful, he's really good. I think he's going to maintain his starting spot. I don't really have... Maybe he doesn't. Maybe they keep Kamara there. I don't know. But if you can sell on him now for any top 50, 60 player, I would 100% do it, understanding that I probably lose out on that value for 2 weeks or so. But the fact that he hasn't really... He's been getting a lot of minutes, but nothing has gigantically ramped, and it's gonna get pressured. It's gonna get pushed way back. So yeah, it is a little concerning. Can I talk about trading for Harden? Sure. If you should, sure. But it's got to be low, right? Harden is still, despite the struggles and all the hate that he gets, he's still like a top 40 guy per game so far this season. I think he can maybe get into the top 25 to the top 20, but you don't give up anywhere near that value. And if you don't get him, you don't get him. Trading is all about, can I get value on this? So if you want to get Harden, do it for a top 50 player. If it doesn't work, you just leave it alone. Do I drop Tillman or Wagner to bring back Booker? Well, one of those guys has a shot of season-long rest of value, and that is Tillman. I'm not saying he's going to get there. Wagner does not, because Wendell Carter will come back in a couple of weeks, and Wagner will go back to nothing. Tillman might be nothing. He might not get the job back off Biyombo, and he might stay at 24 minutes. But Steven Adams is not walking through that door. So Tillman has got a shot at rest of season value. And while it is very clear at the moment that Wagner's the better player than Tillman, or the better fantasy guy, when we reconvene and discuss this in 3 weeks, it won't be the case. Well, sorry, It could the two options in 3 weeks here are that neither Tillman or Wagner are 12-team league guys, or that just Wagner's not a 12-team league guy. I don't see a scenario where Wagner's a 12-team league guy in 2 weeks' time and Tillman isn't. So that's the sort of longer-term thinking that I mean with this sort of stuff. And again, I have no real confidence in Tillman doing this, but the pathway is there. Embiid is officially listed questionable today, but that does not mean that it is that he's going to play. What is this quote? Billy Donovan said he visited Zach LaVine in Los Angeles twice this offseason. They worked hard on their relationship. LaVine has never indicated to Donovan that he wants to be traded. I do think our conversations between he and I have been very open and honest. Cool, what does that mean? Okay. Do you have any prospects that interest me in the 2024 draft class? Alex Sarr is a very interesting player from a fantasy point of view. Very interesting. Who's the other guy that I'm thinking of? Nikola Topic is an interesting player. Ron Holland, a little bit. I'm not sure about him. Collier looks like he might be interesting, but he's quite small. But Sarr is the guy. I'm not saying he's even going to be the number one guy. I haven't done much work on this. But Sarr is the one where I go, wow, there's some real pop things that can happen with him. And that's one to watch. Wendell Carter's on waivers. Should I drop Bojan from IR for Wendell Carter? I think they're both sort of equivalent, honestly. And Bojan's going to have a role because they need his shooting. I think I'd probably rather Bojan. Aditya says, Saric, Melton, Tyus Jones were all dropped yesterday. What? Any of them worth using number 9 waiver claim? Well, don't worry about waiver claim, especially when it's at the bottom. Who cares? Like, I don't even care about number 1 waiver claim. In fact, I try to remove any sort of waiver claim scenario from any league that I'm in. It's got to be fab at all points. There are very clear, like Melton, this is your stupid 15-cat league, isn't it? You got, don't drop Derek White, don't drop Pirtle, but Hardaway, Hawkins, and Mays are all expendable, I would say, for Melton. Saric, don't know, Jones, probably. What's my take on Tyus Jones? I think he's a hold at this point. Sweaty bloke, that is 100% not what I said. I wish you could understand words that I said. What I said was, I believe that Şengün is a very, very good player. And I think if they actually committed to using him, he would be a top 25 guy. I said, I am not sure about how the Rockets are going to use him because they tried to bring Brook Lopez in ahead of him. I said I would give him the minutes, and if he gets the minutes, if he gets 33, he will be amazingly good. But I'm not sure that he will. I said he's either going to be a top 30 guy or he's going to be outside the top 80 because they just limit his minutes and they play Jabari at center. That is what I said. You cannot possibly come at me and tell me that I'm not a Şengün fan. That is insane. According to the numbers this season, has Rui improved? I don't know. What are we going to judge it on? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Rui's numbers. I mean, he hasn't played a huge amount, so there's not much data there. I'm just going to look at his base box score numbers. He's averaging 13 points. Okay, so yes. Has he improved? Sure. He's hitting 48% of his threes and 66% of his twos, so that's an obvious improvement. There's just no way that holds. The other thing that he's doing, for a guy that's one of the most putrid steals guys in the NBA, he's getting a lot of steals, but that's really on the back of a stretch of 8 steals in 3 games, and he usually doesn't get those. So has he improved? His shot is going in, yeah, but is that a long-term thing that holds? I would be quite skeptical about that. Do I think Cooper Flagg has potential to be number 1 fantasy guy in the future? Yeah, I think so. A rebounder who can pass, who can block shots at a high rate. The shooting is a little bit of a worry. Number 1 player is tough to get to, but yes, he's got that potential, yes. How do I analyze prospects translated to the NBA for fantasy? Well, we have a formula that we use, and I use that. I use a bunch of other things like eye test, scouting, role, balance with the rest of the team, but a lot of it is we have a formula we use to translate stats across. Do you write it out with a Sarr? I've got some trades for him, not sure what his value is. Well, he's rolling at top 50 at the moment, so unless you're getting something like that back, just keep going, mate. You can send me the tweet. I cannot explain how many times I've said this about Şengün. Send me the tweet. Go on, do it. do I still consume Built Bars and play disc golf? That's all I do, all day, every day. I'm actually recording this on a disc golf course. Is Killian Hayes a waiver in 12-10 points? I'm not sure what that means. Should you drop him? Yeah. What are my thoughts on Brad Beal in 9 catch? You look to move him. Well, you wouldn't do it now. Nothing good's happened. What value are you getting back? With the injuries to Smart and Kennard, does that propel ESPN unknown Jacob Gilead into 28, 30-minute role, 12-10 territory? Well, you would think so, but what did he play, like 22 minutes yesterday? But he played some decent minutes. So, yeah, I think he's going to be worth having a look at, yes. Do I think Asar is in the convo for Rookie of the Year? He's playing unbelievable. In the convo, like top 3, sure. I don't think he's going to win it because Chet and Victor have been way better. I also put this out. I wanted to see some of his advanced stat stuff. And Kostya, who invented the Darko stat, replied back and goes, yeah, his Darko stat's actually terrible. His on-off stuff is really, really bad. And I looked at it and it was woof. It was rough. Where can I find this formula? You can't, Anthony, because it's what we develop. It's our personal formula. You can't find that formula. Suggs or Bilal? Look, it's safer to use Suggs, much safer. But I could see an argument either way. What is up with JJJ at the moment? Talked about this. He's missing Steven Adams. He's missing Ja Morant. As we're getting ready to... a few minutes before we wrap this up. Yeah, look, he's just really struggling with the role. The shot blocking isn't there. The rebounding isn't there. He's in a massive slump. Now, he's going to get better from this. But the Adams absence is, I think it's really big. Dennis Schroeder is playing. Good positive news on Anthony Simons. He's out of his cast and he's got a splint on his thumb. He's doing ball handling drills. Expected to be out until mid-December. There we go. So we're still waiting on Embiid and LeBron. We're not going to get LeBron update. We might get an Embiid one. We might. Is Jabari Smith a hold? For now, yes. I nailed Keontae. We'll see whether I nailed it, but yeah, it's been okay so far. Who's the next rookie I think could have value? I'm not going to just speculate on one of those ones and try and pull a name out of nowhere, because if something stands out to me and I see it, then I'll mention it. It's more organic. It's not about trying to force the next one in. Like for all the guys that I think are good, Amen Thompson, even like I'm not as big on Jarris Walker or Taylor Hendricks. Like the role isn't there, right? I really do like Hendricks long-term, by the way, and I also like Bryce Sensabaugh, who's been putting up good G League numbers. But there's nothing immediately that stands out of like, here is a clear path to a clear big role outside of like Bilal, but he's already getting 30 minutes. But nothing else is standing out at this point. I don't know, Nectarius. I haven't looked at my top 5 dynasty prospects from the draft. Has Asar moved up? I think I had Asar at 4 anyway. I had Victor at 1, and then there was a three guys in tier 2 all next to each other, Scoot, Amen, and Asar. So they're all still in that same tier. Would I put Asar ahead of Scoot at the moment? Honestly, for fantasy, probably yes. And Amen can do similar things to what Asar does. And I was really debating that because they both translated better than Scoot from a fantasy perspective. But I was like, I think Scoot is probably a better prospect and that's going to be more useful. And I've got more confidence in his scoring ability. So I had them all equal in tier 2 with Scoot, Amen, Asar, 2, 3, 4, but basically the same. And I'll probably have it there and then just adjust that order a little bit. No more news coming through. I'm getting ready to head out of here because I've got to go and work over at Basketball Monster. So we'll get over there now. If you could hit a thumbs up before you go, that would be awesome. And it would help the show out a lot. Leave comments down below if you like. And then we'll be good to go. I'm just waiting to see if we get any update on Embiid. I doubt it. But as I said, he is officially listed active. That does not mean that he is going to play, but it is better than being listed inactive because that means he's most likely not going to play. Almost definitely not going to play, apart from the times when they screw it up. But he is listed active. So that's a good thing. Getting ready to be out of here. I will see you guys later. Still nothing on Embiid. Is it coming? Anything coming? Doesn't look like it. I'm just going to hang around a little bit and see if we get something on that. Hopefully we do. Still nothing. I do need to go. So I'm going to go. All right. I'll see you guys later.